Hello everyone, welcome to New Wave Coaching Classes for Mathematics. This is your host Jatin. I hope everyone is fine and watching my videos, enjoying my lectures also. And one thing more, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please make sure to subscribe it. Right now, today we are going to discuss about some of the other questions of exercise 5.3 for the grade 10 NCERT book, right? So without wasting time, let's start with the fourth question, right? If you see the fourth question is given, we are given one AP. The AP is 9, 7, 25, and one thing more what is given that the sum of the terms of the AP is 636, and we have to calculate that how many terms will add up to give us 636. It means I have to find number of terms, right? So what I have to do? Obviously, I have to find n. So the first step is write the first term, that is a equal to 9, and then also to find the common difference. D is 17 minus 9 equals to 8. Now what next? We apply the formula for Sn. Sn equals to n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d. We substitute the values of all inside it. This is 636 equals to n by 2, 2 into 9 plus n minus 1 into 8. Simplifying, we multiply this 2 on the left side. This is 1272 equals to n into 18. Multiply 8 here, this is 8n minus 8. So this is 1272 equals to n into, inside the bracket we have 10 plus 8n. Now we multiply this n inside the bracket, and what we get? We get 1272 equals to 10 times n plus 8n raised to the power 2, that is 8n squared. Now it forms a quadratic equation. We shift 1270 on the right side. So we can write this thing as 0 equals to, just rearrange in the standard form. So we get this thing, right? Or we can also write this thing as 8n square plus 10n minus 1272 equals to 0. Now, whenever we are simplifying the quadratic equation, our first step is to check if anything is common in all the terms. If anything is common, we take out the common. So here, if you see clearly, all the terms, the coefficients of all the terms, there is 2 as common. So what we can do, we can take 2 as common from here, and I am left with 4n square plus 5n minus 636 equals to 0. Now, if you split the middle term after finding what is the product you required, what is the sum you required, so what do you get here? You get here as 4n square plus 53n minus 48n minus 636 equals to 0. So this is, we are going to simplify this. N is common in the first, so this is 4n plus 53. And then we can have this thing as, we can have 12 common here, minus 12 is common here, and we are left with 4n plus 53 equals to 0. So I am left with the factors n minus 12 and 4n plus 53 equals to 0. Now from here I can find the two values of n. I get n equals to 12 and minus 53 by 2, right? Now we know in the previous lecture also we have seen that n is basically a natural number, it's a number of terms, so it cannot be a negative or a fraction. So what we have to do, we reject this value, we write rejecting n equals to minus 53 by 2. So therefore n equals to 12. It means sum of 12 terms, this means sum of 12 terms of the given AP is 636. So this is the way we have to simplify. It's quite a simple question. Let's see the next question now. Now the next question, what we are given, the first term of the AP is given as 5, and then it's given the last term, or you can say the nth term. It's given as 45, and the sum is given to us as 400. What we have to find? We have to find the common difference. Quite a simple question. What you can do, just simply apply the relation Sn equals to n by 2 into a plus an. Apply this relation first, right? From here, we can find the value of n first. And we have to find the common difference also, and we have to find the number of terms also. So we can find the number of terms using this relation. I just substitute the value. This is 400 equals to n by 2 into 5 plus 45. This 5 plus 45 becomes 50. I can just cancel it out. It is 25. So I can say n equals to 400 upon 25, which gives me the value as 16. Right? Now I know n is 16. Right? So how do I find b? I can use the relation of the nth term. Now relation of the nth term is an equals to a plus n minus 1 into d. So just substitute the value. This is 45 equals to 4. Sorry, this is 5 into n minus 1, and n is 16. So 16 minus 1 into d. I shift this 5 on the left side. This becomes 40 equals to 15d. So I can say d is equal to 40 by 15, and I can get the value of d as 8 by 3. So this was a quite simple question. Let's take the next question now. In the next question again, it's the same question. Another difference is there. What is given in the sixth question? The first term is 17. The nth term is 350. Now there is a change. In this question, Sn was given to me as 400, and I have to find d. Now d is given to me. D is given to me as 9. And what I have to find? I have to find how many terms are there, and then I find the sum of those terms also. So again, a quite simple question. What you can do, just use the relation of the nth term and then find the value of n. So we write an equals to a plus n minus 1 into d. So this is 350 equals to 17 plus n minus 1 into 9. Right? Shifting 17 on the left side, we can just subtract it. It becomes 333 equals to n minus 1 into 9. We divide 9 this side. So I can say 333 upon 9 equals to n minus 1. Now with this divide, we get it as this is 3 and 37. Right? So 37 equals to n minus 1. This means n will be equal to 38. So we get the value of n as 38, and then we can find the value of Sn. Sn will be equal to, again, here instead of applying the complete relation that n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 to d, we can also apply this relation Sn is equal to n by 2 into a plus an. So I write this thing. Since the value of a and the nth term is given to me, that is the first term and the nth term is given, so I can directly do with this relation. So I write this is 38 by 2. In the bracket, this is 17 plus 350. So this Sn will be equal to 19 into 367, and this you can calculate it yourself, right? So it's quite simple question. Let's go to the next question now. Alright, the next question, question number 7. If we see what is given in the question number 7, it is given that we have to find here the sum of first 22 terms of the AB. we are given that the common difference is 7 and the 22nd term is 149, right? So we have to find the sum of 22 terms. It means n is 22. Now what is given to us? We are given 22nd term as 149 and the common difference is given as 7. Now the first step would be to find the first term of the AP, right? So how we find? We know A22 can be written as A plus 21 by using the nth term relation. We substitute the values here. A22 is 149, A plus 21 into 7 because D is 7. We substitute the values and we get A equals to 2. So we have got the value of A now. Now next step, we have to find the sum of 22 terms. So we'll apply the formula Sn is equal to n by 2 into A plus A. Now why I have applied this thing? Because n is 22 here, it means it will be A22 and A22 is given to me, right? So that is why I have written this thing. So I substitute the values and I get the answer as sum of 22 terms as 1661, right? Now let's go to the 8th question now. It's a very simple question. In the 8th question, the second and third terms are given. Second term is given as 14 and the third term is given as 18. And we have to find the sum of first 51 terms. So we know the common difference is the difference of two consecutive terms. So D is equal to A3 minus A2 and we get D equals to 4 here. Now next thing would be to find the value of A. Again we know that A2 is 14 and if I have to find A, I can write the next term minus D. That is A can be written as A2 minus D and we get A as 10. Then we substitute the value of these things and we find the sum of 51 terms. Now as 51, again we apply the relation to find the sum of n terms, that is n by 2 into 2A plus n minus 1 into D. Substitute the values 2 into 10, 51 by 2, 2 into 10 because A is 10, n is given as 51 because I have to find the sum of 51 terms, and this is 51 minus 1 into my D is 4. So 51 upon 2 into 20 plus 200. 20 plus 200 becomes 220. When we open the bracket, this 2 cancels this 220 and I am left with 110. And 51 into 110 would be 5610. So these were quite simple questions, not very difficult question, direct questions you can say. Right. Now you see this 9th question. Now in the 9th question, what is given to us? It is given that the sum of first 7 terms of an AP is 49 and the sum of 17 terms of the AP is 289. See, if this question comes in objective type like MCQ type, you can directly write the answer. See how you can get the answer. See what is given as 7, this is 7 and this is 7 square. Here it is 17, it is 17 square. It means if I have to find the sum of n terms, it would be n square. For the MCQ questions, this is the way you can use your mind while doing the question. But when you're doing in the subjective paper, then how will you write the complete solution? Let's see that thing first. Now S7 is 49. So obviously the first term would be A and the common difference would be D. These are the two things I require first. Then only I can proceed with my question. So I just write the relation. I use this relation Sn is equal to n by 2 into 2A plus n minus 1 into D, and I substitute the values. This is 7 by 2 into 2A plus 7 minus 1 into D equals to 49. So next would be simplify this. This 7 by 2 goes this side and takes reciprocal. The 2 gets multiplied, 7 gets divided, and what I am left with is on the left side it is 2A plus 60 and on the right side it would be 49 into 2 upon 7 and that will be 40. So from here I have the first equation, I can take 2 as common and the first equation becomes A plus 3D equals to 7. Similarly, I take a second sum as 17 is given to me as 289. So I substitute the values and similarly I get the second equation as A plus 8D equal to 17. After solving the first and second equation, because this is a pair of linear equation, two variables, I can simplify by subtracting the two equations and I get D equals to 2 and A equals to 1. Now the next step would be to find n, right? No, the next step would be to find the sum of n terms. Now let's find the sum of the n terms of this AP. So We apply the formula Sn equals to n by 2. Sn equals to n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Substitute the values. Now the a was 1, so 2 into 1 plus n minus 1 into d, that is 2. See, in the beginning I told you 7, 7 square, 17, 17 square. It means the answer should be n square. Let's check it out if it is right or wrong. So this is n by 2, 2 plus 2n minus 2. This 2 cancels. What I am left with is n by 2 into 2n. Again 2 cancels and I get s equals to n square. So this is what I told you in the beginning about the answer. Right? Now let's take the next question of this exercise now. Alright, in the 10th question, what is given? There are 2 parts of this question, so I am doing the second part of this question. It's given that the nth term is given in the form n minus 5n, and what we have to show does it form an AP or not. It means if the consecutive terms will have the same difference, then only it will be forming an AP. So let's check it out if it is forming an AP or not. So how we have to do? Since we are given that the nth term is at 9 minus 5n, so if we put 1, we can get the first term somewhat like this. If we put n equals to 1 here, this is 9 minus 5 into 1 equals to 4. Second term would be 9 minus 5 into 2. So 5 into 2 would be 10. So 9 minus 10 would be minus 1. Similarly, the third term can be minus 6. Now if I find the difference between the first and the second term, I get d equals to minus 5, why? Minus 1, minus 4. And if I find the difference between the second and third term, I get minus 6, then this negative sign, and since this term is negative, I put it in the bracket. So this is minus 6 plus 1, I get again minus 5. So since d in the consecutive terms, that is the common difference is same, so that is why it is an AP. Now the next part is given, if it forms an AP, we have to find the sum of the 15 terms. So 15 terms sum, we apply the relation n by 2 is equal into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. We substitute the values and finally what we get, n is 15, so 15 by 2 into 2 into 4 because a was 4, and then 14 into, why 14? Because n is 15, so 15 minus 1 I get it to 14, and 14 into minus 5, that is the value of d. And then as 15 equals to 15 by 2 into this 2 into 4 becomes 8, and 14 into minus 5 becomes minus 70, right? And then simplify this thing, I get the value of sum of 15 terms as minus 465. Similarly, you can proceed for the first part also of this question. Now, I have just left the 11th question because it's a very long question. We will be doing after this question, right? So first understand these 12, 13 and 14 question because they are all same, no differences there. In the 12th question, it is given I have to find the sum of first 40 multiples, first 40 positive integers which are divisible by 6. That is first 40 multiples of 6. The meaning is same. So what I write the AP. Now the first 40 multiples would be obviously the first multiple of the first number which is divisible by 6 would be 6. And the second would be 12, then 18. That is, I have to write the table of 6 only, right? So this is 6, 12, 18 and till 40 terms, this is what I have. Now obviously the first term would be 6 and the common difference again would be 6 because they are the numbers divisible by 6. So it will be coming at a gap of 6 only. N is given as 40. N is 40. I have to find S40. So how I can do? Let's see. I just put the values. I put the values in the relation Sn equal to n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. So n is 40. So 40 by 2 into 2a. A is 6 and plus n minus 1, that is 40 minus 1 into 6. After substituting and simplifying, I get the sum of the first 40 numbers which are divisible by 6. The sum of those numbers is 4920. Similarly, in the next question, that is the 13th question is given, I have to find the sum of first 15 multiples of 8. Now again, the the multiples of 8 would be in the form of 8, 16, 24, 32, right? And then I have to find the sum of the first 15 terms, right? So again, here A is 8, D is also 8, and the sum and the number of terms would be 15. Sum of 15 terms means I have to find S15. So proceeding this way, I can find the sum of 15 terms, right? Again, in the 14th question, they say find the sum of the odd numbers between 0 and 50. It is given 0 and 50. In the exam, it can come between 0 and 100, 0 and 200, 300, 400. It could be anything. It can even come find the sum of odd numbers between 100 and 200. They can also give, the question can be like this, also find the sum of odd numbers between 1000 and 2000. So it can be in any way, right? But the method of solving would be same. There will be no change. The first step is always to write the AP, right? So AP in this case would be, obviously these are odd numbers which are not divisible by 2. The numbers which are not divisible by 2 are the odd numbers. So between 0 and 50, the first number is 1. Then it is 3, then 5, then 7, and obviously before 50, the last number would be 49. Now here, the first term is 1, common difference is 2, they are coming in a gap of 2, and I don't know how many terms are there between 0 and 50, how many odd numbers are there between 0 and 50, but I know the last term is 49. So I can use the relation of the nth term of an AP and I can find how many odd numbers are there between 0 and 50. No, see, in this question it is easy. You can just calculate on the fingers also between 0 and 50 how many numbers are there. There are simply 25 numbers. But if the gap is big, see, if I ask you between 1000 and 2000, so you will have to think how many numbers are there, right? So in that case, you will have to calculate this way, right? So here I have simply done n is 25 and then we can find the sum of 25 terms of the AP using again the same relation. Sn is equal to n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Now let's go to the 11th question of this exercise. It's a little bit typical question. Let's see what is given in the question. Alright, if we see the 11th question, is given if the sum of the first n terms of an AP is 4n minus n square, what is the first term? What is the sum of first two terms? What is the second term? Similarly, find the third, 10th and the nth term. So let's see what is given first in the question. In the 11th question is given sum of n terms is equal to 4n minus n square. Alright. Now we have to find the terms here. Before I proceed with the solution of the question, I want to explain one thing. See, if we add these numbers, these are 10 terms. The sum would be 55. Now, if I add these numbers till 9, this is 45. Now, see very carefully. This is the sum of 10 terms. So, I can write it as S10. This is the sum of 9 terms. So, I can write it as S9. Right? Now, what? If I have to find A10, that is the 10th term, can I do it this way? S10 minus S9? Because if you subtract these two, 55 minus 45, obviously that will be 10. And our 10th term here is 10. Right? So, generalizing this thing, we can say if I have to find the nth term, I will write it as Sn minus Sn minus 1. So this is one of the relation which we'll use in this question and which was not discussed earlier because it was left for this question, right? So we will be using this relation to find the different terms in this question, right? Now let's see. Now, in the first thing they asked, what is the first term? Now, if an AP contains only one term, so obviously the sum of that AP would be equal to that same term only, right? So it means if I have to find the first term, A1 or A I can add, that will be equal to sum of one term, that will be equal to S1, that is 4 into 1 minus 1 square. So this comes out to be 3. So 3 is my first term. So now first part of this question is over. Next thing, they ask what is the sum of two terms. It means I have to find S2. Quite simple. I just substitute the value of n as 2 in this relation and I can find S2. So this is 4 into 2 minus 2 square. That comes out to be 8 minus 4 equals to 4. Now, if I have to find the second term, now I know S2 means, what S2 means is A1 plus A2. That's the sum of first two terms. Now, S2 is given to me as 4 and the first term was 3. It means A2 would be equal to 1. Right? So, this is the way we can find the values. Next, I have to find the third term. See, to find A2, I can also write it as or A2 is equal to S2 minus S1 using the relation which I told you that AN equals to Sn minus Sn minus 1. I can use this relation directly to find any term if the sum of n terms is given to me. Right? Now, what's next? They are asking find the third term. Now, if I have to find A3, A3 would be equal to S3 minus S2. Now, S2 we have already calculated, S2 was 4. We can calculate S3 by putting 3 in this. So, that will be equal to 4 into 3 minus 3 square. So, this is my S3 minus S2. S2 was 4. So, I just substitute the value of S2 as 4. Now, I will simplify the bracket. This is 12 minus 9 inside the bracket and minus 4. And this gives me 3 minus 4. So, I get A3 equals to minus 1. Next, I have to find the 10th term. So, A10, again I can use the same relation. A10 is S10 minus S9. Now, I have to find the both because neither of the two I have found. So, just I put the value of n equal to 10 here. So, for S10 it would be 4 into 10 minus 10 square and I put this whole thing in a big bracket minus for S9 it would be 4 into 9 minus 9 square. So first of all we will simplify the individual brackets. When I simplify this one I get it as 40 minus 100 and this side I get it as 36 minus 81. Now 40 minus 100 would be equal to, so A10 here is minus 60 inside the bracket. This is minus 60 minus. What I get here? I get it as minus 45. Now when I open the bracket, this is minus 60 plus 45 and the value of A10 comes out to be minus 15. Right? Now the last part of this question, I have to find the nth term, that is I have to find AN. Right? Now how will I find AN? Obviously I have the direct relation that AN is equal to Sn minus Sn minus 1. So now I had AN equal to Sn minus Sn minus 1. See, you have to substitute the values very carefully because there are chances of getting wrong things, right? So when I substitute the value of Sn would be 4n minus n square. This is already given to me minus. Now I substitute the value of n as n minus 1 in the given relation. It means wherever n is written, I will write n minus 1. So I substitute, this is the first, I get it as 4 into n minus 1, then minus of n minus 1 whole square. Right? So wherever n is given, I have written n minus 1. So I just simplify the second side of the bracket, second bracket. First, no need to simplify. Be very careful. This is 4n minus 4, right? In the first bracket. Now, see, since there is a negative sign in front of this small bracket, so what we will do, we will first simplify and keep it in the bracket. Then we will open it. So I write it as minus this I apply the relation identity of a minus b whole square. I get it as n square minus 2n plus 1, right? Now I can open the bracket. So this is 4n minus n square minus 4n minus 4. Now when I open the bracket, this is minus n square plus 2n minus 1. See, it is little bit getting complex. That is why I am saying do it very carefully. Now we simplify the inside of the bracket first. Then we will open this bracket. So this is 4n minus n square. When I simplify this thing, I get it and I write in the decreasing powers of n. So I get it as minus n square. Then 4n plus 2n is 6n. And minus 4 minus 1 becomes minus 5. Now there is nothing to simplify. Now I can open the big brackets. So what I get? This is 4n minus n square. When I go open the bracket, since there is a negative sign in front of the bracket, so signs will change. So it will be plus n square, then minus 6n and plus 5. This minus n square and plus n square gets cancelled. And what I am left with, this is 4n minus 6n. So nth term I get it as minus 2n plus 5. So this is how we can proceed with this question. This is quite a long question, right? So I hope you have understood everything. The remaining questions, which are the statement questions, we'll be doing in the next lecture, right? So I hope you understood everything. If not, try to watch the video again and make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Okay, dear friends, this is your host signing off. Goodbye and take care.